I'm not gonna lie. I feel so good when I wear makeup, but I don't want to feel like I'm wearing a mask, especially in the summertime. I want my summertime makeup to be fresh, to be light, to be simple. I need it to take like 5 minutes. I have the tiniest makeup bag that I travel with when I'm traveling or on vacation because my focus is I think the best makeup happens when you have gorgeous skin. And I'll be honest with you, I'm somebody who suffers from acne and hyperpigmentation. I don't have the best skin, but I love to do my makeup and it looks like I do have the best skin, but with minimal clean products that won't make my acne worse. A lot of the products that I'm using today are fungal acne safe if you're someone like me who has very sensitive skin. What I have on my skin right now is the YSL. This is the Bare Look Tint Skin, and I'm in the shade 14 and 16. And my biggest recommendation for you in the summertime is small investment, get a skin tint. But if you have a full coverage foundation, just mix in a little sunscreen, mix in a little moisturizer, and bam, you have skin tint. So if you're someone that is kind of a little bit on a budget, just take what you already have and just add some sunscreen to it or add some moisturizer and you have a skin tint. But if you do want to splurge a little bit, I suggest getting a skin tint with two different colors. You have a lighter color, which is like your base, and then as you're on vacation or you're traveling or shoot, you might be in the garden at home. I don't know your life, but for me, I want to make sure that I have a skin tint that I can add that's a little bit darker so that as I get deeper and more melanated and just a little bit more crispier in the summer, I can adjust the color of my skin tint with the shade darker. This is the shade 14 that I have right now, and I also have the shade 16. So I mix those up a little bit, and then I put a little bronzer on my eyelids, and bronzer is kind of all over. If you want to see this full look in the demo, then you got to keep watching because I did this whole look for you. It's very simple, very classic. I call this my summer skin tint preview. It's just a preview to me just about to be a baddie this summer. All right, for the sake of this video, we're going to pull my hair back because you all gave me some feedback last time I was doing makeup on Beyonce's internet. You were like, pull your hair back. So I'm going to pull my hair back. But I was going to just pull it back. But let me show you what I'm using. If you have thick, coarse, curly hair, if you also have extensions, like this is a sew-in, if you have a lot of hair, you want to invest in a bungee. It's pennies, if that. Get them off Amazon. Just type in hair bungee. And it is not your traditional hair tie. So it has like the hair tie elastic, but on each end, it's like a linear like band, and it has two little hooks. What you're gonna do is you're gonna hook it on one side, wrap it around, and then hook the other side. When I tell you it is the most snatched ponytail in the game, and it's a really easy way to do a ponytail on somebody else. I'll show you how simple it is. Okay, let's see. Please work. Don't embarrass me in front of camera. Okay, there we go. All right, and that is a bungee for your hair. Okay, carry on. All right, so the first thing that I do, I try to make sure that my makeup is simple, super, super simple in the summertime, but I'm pretty oily. So what I like to do is I start off with my sunscreen. I already put it on. I love the Hello Sunday sunscreen. This is what I use. It is not summer makeup if you don't have sunscreen on. Like, what is the point? So I have a lot of hyperpigmentation, but I'm working with Dr. Hogan right now, my dermatologist, and her number one thing is sunscreen, sunscreen, sunscreen. And I put a little extra sunscreen on those parts where I don't want it to get any darker. All right, once that lets that sit, if your makeup ever peels while you're doing your makeup, it's because your skincare, you haven't allowed it time to like sit and absorb into the skin. There's a few extra things I want to try today too. First impressions. This is, I hope I'm saying this right. They sent this to me. This is a primer, but it also has SPF in it. This is the Ciel. I think I'm saying that correctly. I'm probably not. I'm so sorry, but it's a beautiful company. And you can use this as a base for your makeup. So I'm going to put that on. And I'll put it in the areas. This is my first time using this primer on camera. But what I like about it is it has makeup properties, like a primer, but it also has skincare properties. A cute little primer. Put that all over the face. Obviously, if I didn't already go in with my Hello Sunday, I would have probably put this all over. But just to kind of show you what it looks like on my chest, it looks good. I like the sheen. It's not purple. It's not blue. Nothing crazy. So yeah, start off with a really good primer. And a primer could even have SPF in it. So this is the one that I'm going to use. All right, let's get to the good stuff. This is going to be super short and sweet. My skin tint of choice these days is the YSL skin tint. This is the Bare Look tint. I used this years ago. I used to have it in my kit. The only thing I would say that is kind of tough about this is I have to get 2 shades to get my perfect match. But I recommend that you do 2 because this is why. So I get the shade 14 and I get the shade 16. As I tan in the summer, especially on vacation, I have a few trips planned coming up in a few weeks. I want to be able to adjust all of this as my skin adjusts. So I'm going to go in with a deeper one towards the perimeter. But I'm also going to use this deeper one to kind of balance it out. And when I'm on vacation, what I do is I make sure that I pack the darkest one and the lightest one. And the more and more, if I'm doing it right, the more I tan, the more dark I'll add into it. So I'll show you what this looks like. And I'm just using a beauty blender. But if you see me out in the streets, this 9 times out of 10 is what I have. You just see how pretty and skin-like it is. It gives the perfect amount of coverage. But still has the skin looking like skin. Isn't that gorgeous? If you don't get anything else from this video, again, I'm just not trying to influence, trying to educate. My number 1 tip is invest in a really good skin tint. It does not have to be expensive. Milk just came out with this grip gel that I'll review in a little bit. I have not tried it. I'm going to try it, a first impression on camera. But there's some really great products out there. Over the counter, it's not a prescription, but you can get some stuff from like the local drugstore all the way to like a fancy department store. But a really good skin tint is something that I think you should invest in. Look at my cheekbone. I just got some filler and tox a couple weeks ago with Dr. Hogan, and she did a really good job. You see my cheekbones, my little chin. And then I'm gonna blend this all in. But I like that this just makes it look like my skin, but better. And then what I'll do after that is I go in still with a little concealer, and I like to go in with the Lawless Long Wearing Skin Nourishing concealer, just to kind of brighten up a little bit and hit those spots where I want a little bit more coverage. Kind of blend all that together. Then I'm going to go in, and while that concealer is sitting a bit, I'm going to go in and make sure that I blend everything out. And I've just really been into beauty blenders lately. I've been into like fluffy brushes. Do not ask me where this brush is from. This is Jane Ardell Dome Brush. I've had this brush, I think, since college. But it's a good brush. But I like something fluffy. So the more circular motions, the more sheer something is going to be. You can really concentrate that product all over, but like in a sheer way. Something that's not too cakey. And that's the goal with like a summer makeup look. You want it to just look like skin. And to minimize the appearance of your pores, you also want to make sure that you go in circular motions. And the more you blend, the more mobility you have if you hold your brush towards the end. But this is basically my summer skin tint. So a few of my favorites, the Milk Grip one, which I haven't tried it yet. I feel like it's going to be my favorite, but that's what I have right now. I also have, like I said, the YSL one. Make sure I blend it all the way down to my neck. But you see, it just looks like my skin, but better. Don't forget the ears. I'm wearing a high ponytail, so I want to make sure my side profile looks good too. Blend all that up, out and up. And then what I typically do after that is I go in with a cute little lip gloss. Something sheer. I feel like this brush is falling apart because I'm like starting to get, you know, those brush fibers. Yeah, you see that? Yeah, this should not have used that brush. Trying to throw that brush away. And what I do next is I'll focus on my brows. And I'll kind of brush all that up. And this is just a Sephora pencil. And this is in the shade medium brown. Just go in and fill that in a little bit. Nothing too crazy, nothing too sculpted. this is like vacation makeup. I want it to look like just a little bit more elevated version of myself. I want this to be like a simple go-to look that you can just, while you're on the resort, you could just throw on. So next I'm going to go on my Dior Backstage Concealer. And this is one of my favorite products to sculpt the brow. And it's really simply because of the applicator. Ignore the way that looks. It looks crusty and dusty. But I like that I don't need an additional makeup tool. I can use it right out of the jar. And I kind of put this on just to sculpt my brows a little bit. And this is a really good trick, obviously, if you need to get your brows done or you're in between your waxing or threading appointment, or even if you just need to do it yourself. This is just the way that I sculpt my brows to make them a little bit more defined, but soft defined. Like I don't want nothing too crazy. Let that sit for a little bit. When I say a little bit, I'm trying to make this fast. Let that sit for like 2-3 seconds. Then I'm going to go in and take a brush and kind of just blend those edges out. But you see how gorgeous that brow is? It still looks like my natural brow that I woke up with, but something a little bit more lifted, a little bit more sculpted. Why can't I talk? And that's about it. And then that is basically the skin. What I want to do next is I want to go in with my Kosas. This is the Cloud Set Setting Powder. I love it because it's one of the best powders on the market right now. It's like your skin, but better. So what I do is I go in with a beauty blender or a sponge and I kind of tap in under my eyes, anywhere where I don't want to shine. So I don't want to shine around here. I can get her. But you see, it knocks the shine away, sets the makeup, but it still looks like skin. That's why I really like it. And this is in the shade Pillowy. It's like a yellow kind of shade. I hit pan, so it's time to get another one. But they make another shade. This was in the shade Pillowy, the one that I just used. The other shade that I like is Silky, and it is my version of like a bronzer. So I'm going to bronze up a little bit. And I'll show you this side versus the other side. And this is what's going to give me, you see what that just did? So in the summer, sometimes I wear blush, sometimes I don't. But if I don't, I'm typically going in with the bronzer because it's such a good multi-use product. So I'm going to also put this on my eyelids. Something quick, something cute, something short. And blend that out a little bit. But isn't that just really pretty and natural? Something sweet, something cute. Because we're on the beach. We're like diddly-daddling around the resort. Like we're just skin goals. That's what we're really doing. All right, for the next thing I want to do is you can go in with a few different things. This is a waterproof gel eyeliner by Hourglass. This is their color brown. It's called Cave. Or you can go in with the Make It Forever Artist Color Pencil. This is in the shade Dimensional Dark Brown. And what I like to do with this one, let's go with the Hourglass one because it is waterproof. So this is something that would be perfect. And then kind of just wing that out a bit. Ooh, child. Whoa. Out of control. All right, we're just going to clean that up a little bit. Jesus, Tiffany. Get it together. When I tell you I promise I'm a professional. So I just want to go in under my water line, kind of like just a little bit. This technique I love because it's not an aggressive eyeliner. I'm not actually going on top with a lid. There's no pressure trying to make it straight. When you do your eyeliner in your waterline is that little skin between your lashes and your actual eyeball. So kind of this part right here. But I just put a little bit on the corners of my waterline. Then what I do is I go in with some type of angled brush. I got this one off Amazon. Check my Amazon storefront. I'll put all the links of where links are. But this is a completely dry angled brush, which I love. It's kind of like a retractable. Super cute. So what I do is I take it's completely clean and I'm just gonna, and that's how I get my wing liner. I call this my resort wear liner. Something subtle, nothing too crazy. But you don't have that pressure. You could do this year round, honestly. You don't have that pressure of trying to do like the perfect eyeliner. You just want something that's really good for the beach. And then taking some more of that bronzer to kind of bronze me up a little bit. And you want your bronzer to be something warm. I have a bronzer versus contour video. I'm not going to do a lot of contouring. When I'm on vacation, I want it simple. I want it sweet. For my lips, let's try this Rode. This is their Peptide Lip Pencil. I want to go in. I have a little bit of stuff on my lips already, but just to define the corners and my lip line. Something soft. But let me show you the part that sets it off. So the skin is done. SPF down, protected, or glowing. Let's blend this out a little bit more because I see some imperfections. But my final step that I typically do is my mascara. Now you can go in with brown mascara, you can go in with black mascara. I'm going to do black mascara today. And the one I'm going to use is going to be the Hourglass mascara, if I can find it. 1 second. We're going to do a quick little trick. I have the YSL mascara in brown, and I also have the Hourglass Unlocked Extension mascara in black. I'm going to do one eye with brown, one eye with black, so you can kind of like see the difference. So let's go in with this brown mascara first. This is a really good option if you want something very subtle. That I'm headed to the beach. Or maybe going downstairs after I've discussed my itinerary with the concierge. And I want to be put together, but I don't want to look like I'm like doing way too much. That's the brown mascara. You see it's subtle. Still gives me that length and definition. That's like a really good like beach vibe, right? If you want to step it up a little bit, I want you to go in with the Unlocked Hourglass mascara. This is really, really good. I work out in this. I sweat in this. This one is not going to move. But this one I like because it legit gives you like extensions. And it's a little bit more body and definition than the black. My whole point of this demo is to show you what easy, effortless summer looks should look like. You see that? Depending on the occasion. Obviously, sometimes you just got to step out and show them. But for the days where you're really not trying to kill them, just go in with a simple skin tint and some mascara. I like the black mascara. I'm just a black girl. Every pun intended. But let's try. I'm going to layer this brown one. I'm going to put some black on it. But you see the point. If you don't want to do too much, sometimes what I even do is I'll do black at the top and brown at the bottom. I have very long, God-given eyelashes at the bottom, and sometimes they can just like look like little spiders. So to kind of soften that lower lash line, what I'll do is I'll go in with brown. But you see how gorgeous that is? Very subtle, very simple. But for me, mascara on me is what really sets the makeup apart. And it makes it look like my skin, but better look. I'm going to go in with a little bit more of the Kosas Pillowy because I still see some shininess around my nose. I'm going to tackle that a little bit. I also want to go in. Y'all, I'm still on my skin journey. You see all that texture? If you have a lot of texture in your skin, you do want to go in with powder. But powder doesn't mean you have to look dry. That's why I really love the Kosas powder. This is not sponsored. But it has an ingredient in it called mica. Mica is really good because it has light reflecting properties. It's going to allow you to get the absorption and the benefits of having a powder, but it's going to give you that reflection and light like your natural skin would. And that is my summer makeup, boys and girls. And again, we didn't really use any blush, but we can. I'm going to do a whole separate video because look what my friends at Rare Beauty sent me. Like, I think this is the perfect moment to try a blush. Let's do that in a separate video. I'll probably do that one next. So hit the little playlist and watch me play with these blushes. Okay, but that is my summer skin bronzy, let's get 'em look. But we need a little bit of color. Let's do some blush in another video. Thank you so much for watching.